Ever wondered what really goes into one of those truly transformative full glam makeup looks? You know, the ones you see online that are just flawless? Well, it's way more than just a bunch of products. It's a whole process, an art form, really. And, as we're about to see, it all kicks off with a feeling of pure joy. So let's break down the magic, one step at a time.
And see, this is where it all begins. It's not about the primer or the foundation. It's about the feeling. The artist behind this incredible look says she gets this, electric buzz of happiness right before she starts. And you can tell that initial joy is what fuels the entire creation.
Okay, so let's get into the actual technique. And right off the bat, the first step to building that perfect base comes with a pretty big surprise. To get this flawless, full coverage look, she skips foundation completely. Yeah, you heard that right.
So why skip foundation? Well, the thinking here is actually pretty genius. Instead of trying to find that one perfect shade of foundation, which can be almost impossible, she mixes two different full coverage concealers. This lets her create a completely custom shade that's guaranteed to be a perfect match for her skin. It's brilliant.
And here's exactly how she does it. She just mixes a bit of each concealer on the back of her hand, dots it on, and blends it all out. But here's the crucial part, the little pro tip. She always leaves a little bit of that mixture on her hand. That way, if she needs to do any touch-ups later, the product is right there, ready to go. No need to remix.
All right, next up, the brows. This part of the process is all about precision, right? But it's also where we see that even the most skilled artists run into some very relatable and honestly kind of strange problems. So, before she can even get started, she finds out her brow palette is completely shattered. Her theory for why? It's hilarious. She thinks it's a ghost who got frustrated trying to do its own makeup. It's just a great little reminder that, things go wrong, and sometimes you just have to roll with it.
And check out this brilliant solution. After she gets some brow powder on her brush, she dips it right into the clear wax that's in the same palette. This super simple move basically turns the powder into a creamy DIY pomade. It lets her draw these incredibly sharp, clean lines. It's a total game changer.
And now, it's time for the main event, the star of the show, the eyeshadow. This is where the look really gets its dramatic, artistic personality. We're talking layers of color, different textures. It all comes together to create something seriously stunning. So the whole process starts by building a solid foundation with matte shades. First, a neutral brown gets blended into the crease to create a nice, soft transition. Then, a much deeper brown is packed onto that outer part of the eye to really build up some depth and dimension. And finally, she takes this tiny, precise little brush just to soften up any harsh edges. So, how does she get that blend to look so effortless? Here's the secret. Instead of pressing the brush down flat into the eyeshadow, she just picks up the color on the very, very tip of the bristles. It's a tiny change, but it means the brush itself does most of the blending work for you. Okay, the matte base is down. Now it's time for the fun part, the sparkle. First, a little bit of glitter glue goes on the lid to make sure those shimmers really pop. Then, a beautiful rosy shimmer is pressed right onto the center, and an even brighter, more reflective one goes on the inner corner. And of course, a sharp, dramatic wing liner to finish it off. And you can just hear it in her voice right here, that pure excitement. It's that moment when all the layers and all the blending just click into place. It's not just a technical step, it's a moment of genuine awe at what she's created. I mean, whoa!
Okay, so everything is going great, the eyeshadow is perfect, you're in the zone, and then disaster. A big smudge of mascara right on top of all that beautiful work. Oh, it's a moment we've all had, that sinking feeling. So, what's the fix?
The secret is to do absolutely nothing. Seriously, at least not right away. If you try to wipe wet mascara, you're just going to smear it everywhere and make it worse. The trick is to just have patience, let it dry completely. Once it's totally dry, it'll flake right off with a little flick, without ruining any of the eyeshadow underneath. It's so simple, but it's a lifesaver. So, the final touch for these dramatic eyes is a pair of equally dramatic false lashes. I mean, these things are intense. In her words, they're so curled they're pointing up to the sky. But she's also quick to give a little warning. These are not for beginners. If you're new to false lashes, maybe start with something a little less extreme.
All right, we're in the home stretch. Now it's time for all those final steps that are going to pull this entire look together. The eyes are so intense, so the rest of the face really needs to be sculpted and polished to make sure everything looks balanced and vibrant.
And this part is like a rapid-fire sequence to finish everything off. A little bronzer adds warmth and structure, some blush brings that life and freshness back to the cheeks. She defines the lips with a pencil and adds some gloss to balance out the dramatic eyes. Then a little touch of highlighter for a subtle glow, and finally a bright pencil in the waterline to make the eyes look huge and bright, almost like a doll's.
And right here, we get another one of those perfectly real, relatable moments. While she's using her favorite waterline pencil, she has this sudden realization that it expired over a year ago. It's just a funny, honest little moment that proves that even with all this artistry, sometimes we all have that one favorite product we just can't let go of.
So after all that work, the custom base, the DIY brow pomade, that incredibly intricate eyeshadow, all the finishing touches, what's a look like this really for? It's about so much more than just the picture you see at the end.
And she's super clear about this. This is not your everyday run-to-the-grocery-store kind of look. This level of artistry, this intensity, is reserved for those moments that feel really, truly significant, what she calls a very super extra special occasion.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? The real value isn't just in wearing the makeup, it's in the act of creating it. It's a process that, yeah, it takes time, it takes patience, but she says the journey itself is just incredibly fun and satisfying.
Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. This art of transformation is a tool we can use to mark the moments that really matter to us. So, the real question is, what are those moments in your own life? What makes an occasion special enough for you to create something extraordinary?